Hey everyone, my name is Novotemi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be talking a bit about how to get started with drawing. Specifically, what sort of equipment you could use, the actual programs you'll be using, and everything you'll need to get set up and decide how you want to do all this. Keep in mind, one, my voice is a little messed up because I am getting over being sick, so I'm sorry in advance. I just wanted to get this video out there. Two, I have not really scripted this video, and I tend to talk pretty slowly and stutter a lot, so I'm sorry. I'm also the CEO of Yapping, but my actual words are at least moderately important, so please do stick with me. This will be a long video, most likely, not very edited compared to the first one. I just kind of realized that the first video was very overly scripted and didn't really reflect how my content will probably be. It's just not really me, so this video is going to be a lot less edited, a lot more just talking, going over certain things, and a lot of the editing will just be in the visuals. So keep in mind, this will be a little rambly, but I promise it's important. We'll be going over a few important things, mainly what kind of equipment you can use for digital art, and my recommendations on actual programs for each one, why I think you should use some and why I don't think you should use others, stuff like that. My next video will be about actual guidelines and stuff, just full transparency. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to get this one out now. People have been asking for that a lot, so I think it'd be important to get the simple stuff out of the way so we can get right into the meat of what I want to make videos about. For now, we will be going over the basic stuff. This video will be talking about equipment, and in the future we'll be talking about how to get started, what you should be focusing on, stuff like that. So if those videos are already out and this is the part that you already know, you already know what you want to use to draw, what program you want to use, you already know all that, maybe you already have your stuff set up, you can just ignore this video and move on to the next one. If you are completely new, you have no idea what you're doing, you see all the drawing tablets on the market, and you go, oh my god, what do I do? Some of these are so expensive, what should I get? Are some of these better than others? Or you're looking at the 1 million drawing programs out there, and you're like, I have no idea what's good. Some of these are expensive, I don't know if I should spend money on them, all that stuff. So if that's what you're looking for, just that basic, where do I start, that choice paralysis stuff, I'm here. Let's talk about it. So the first thing I want to talk about is your different options to starting to draw, and specifically with equipment. Now, it's a common misconception that you need a big fucking, sorry, I'm gonna swear in this video. You need a big fucking crazy expensive drawing tablet and stuff like that in order to do digital art, which is what we'll be talking about. I will not be going over traditional art, just so you know, because I'm not very versed in it. You can do a lot of my beginner drawing stuff traditionally, sorry, if you want to, but that's not really what this video is about. This is about digital stuff specifically. So there are different types of actual equipment you can use to make digital art. Some are more accessible, some are more expensive, and I'll be talking about all of them because everyone deserves to be able to draw, and chances are you actually already have a piece of equipment that you can use to draw and you don't have to buy anything new. I would recommend that you buy a drawing tablet, but you don't have to, especially if you're someone that maybe can't afford to, or if it's just not something you can budget for. I know everything is so expensive right now, so it might not seem worth it to put money into a hobby you don't even know if you'll enjoy. I would say draw traditionally first if you're not sure. Figure out how much you like it, and if you do decide that you'd rather draw digitally, then invest in it. But if you want to get started just to try it out, probably the most accessible way would be to draw on your phone. Now, I personally hate drawing on my phone because a lot of the time when you're drawing on your phone, you're using your finger to draw. There's no pressure sensitivity like you might have with traditional or digital, on a drawing tablet, that sort of thing. Probably the next step up from that would be drawing on an iPad, and this is something that a lot of people do, even professional artists. So if you have an iPad, if you're an Apple household or whatever, or you have an iPad equivalent in Android or whatever, and you have something like an Apple Pencil, the Apple Pencil is really cool because it has pressure sensitivity. It's like the only little stylus kind of thing you can use with like a phone, I believe, that has that, or at least like readily available. A lot of like those little drawing styluses that just have like the little rubber pad on the end and it's like a pen. They're better than your finger, but not by much. I don't really recommend drawing that way. Now, some people can. You can draw with anything. If you put enough time into it, you can learn to draw with, like, nothing. Like, there are people that make masterpieces in MS Paint with their mouse. Like, it's definitely something you can do. There's a lot of people who draw on their phone, especially when they're starting out, because most people have a smartphone, and there are free apps on the smartphone that you can draw with. I find that drawing on the phone is very limiting because of the programs available there. You're missing out on a lot of really commonly used like illustration tools. The actual screen size of the phone being so small is very limiting. It's better to draw big than to draw really small. It's like a good thing to get in the habit of. So long term, I wouldn't recommend sticking with the phone, but if you want to try it out for really cheap, you can absolutely draw on your phone. I know a lot of people use Metabang, a lot of people use Ibis Paint on the phone. I'm not super familiar with the best stuff on the phone. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Phew. Oh, sorry. I'm getting over being sick. I had laryngitis like 2 weeks ago, and I'm still kind of gross from it. Sorry. I did write down mobile and iPad stuff. Ibis Paint and Metabang are the big ones. Procreate is another one, but that one is specifically only on Apple products. You will not be able to use that on Android. So if you're using any kind of Samsung phone or anything like that, you probably won't be able to use Procreate. Procreate's pretty affordable. It is a paid software. I believe Metabang might be paid. I think Ibis Paint is free. I might be wrong, but there's also a mobile version of Clip Studio Paint. I don't know how good it is. I imagine it can't be that good. The PC version of Clip Studio Paint is, I personally believe, the best drawing software out there. That's just spoilers for later. But I don't think the mobile version is probably going to be very good, so especially if it's like something you have to pay for. I believe Mobile Clip Studio has like a subscription service kind of business model. I don't recommend that. I think that's lame. So you definitely probably shouldn't go that route. It's probably not even very good. So I think Procreate is probably the best one on any kind of like mobile thing. If you're drawing on an iPad, I absolutely would recommend Procreate. It's used by a lot of iPad artists that I know. I don't have an iPad. I'm not an Apple guy. I really dislike Apple, actually. But it's a really good option. Like, iPad with an Apple Pencil, Procreate, that will carry you a very long way. And it's probably more affordable especially if you already have an iPad. I wouldn't like maybe buy an iPad for drawing, because especially if you have like a PC already. But if you already have an iPad, which a lot of people do, and you have an Apple Pencil, or you can buy an Apple Pencil. I'm not sure how much they cost. I don't think they're like ridiculous, but it is an Apple product, and so it's probably like $80 at least, knowing Apple. Sorry, I'm an Apple hater. It's more affordable than buying a whole setup for drawing, like on PC, if you don't have like a good computer for it, or if you want like a screened tablet. An iPad is going to be like probably about the same price as a screen tablet, but you don't need to plug it into a PC, so it's similar. I would recommend it. You have to buy the pen separately, sadly, which is expensive, but it does feel nice. I have tried it before. I won't be focusing on iPad stuff when I actually draw. I'll be drawing on PC. But most of the stuff I do, you can absolutely follow along with on any media, so don't worry too much about that. Or medium, not media. It shouldn't be much of a problem. But those are probably your best options that are affordable and easily accessible if you just want to start out. Like, maybe you most likely already have a phone, you have a finger, I'm sure. I'm sure you're not getting into drawing with no fingers on both hands. That would be a bit unfortunate. You could probably draw with your toes if that was the case. It's the most accessible. But What I personally prefer is drawing on PC. I think you have a lot better options for actual software. It's less limited, you have more storage space, you don't have to transfer files between like mobile and PC to upload them places. It's easier to upload on social media if you plan on being like a social media artist or just want to upload your art online in general. You can stream it easily. It's just kind of better overall, I think, if you can swing it. Like, if you already have a nice PC, maybe think about buying a drawing tablet, because I think it's worth it. Personally, I think even screenless drawing tablets are better than drawing on mobile, but that's a personal preference. Again, some people draw on their iPad their entire career and they do awesome. So it's really up to personal preference, personal skill, all that stuff. So whatever you're most comfortable with, whatever you're most comfortable spending money on, that sort of thing. Now, for PC, your best option is probably going to be to buy a drawing tablet. I do not recommend that you draw with your mouse. Some people prefer to for things like pixel art and stuff like that. Graphic design, you can probably get away with it, but actually doing like drawings of characters, you're just not going to have as much control over like the movements of your lines and stuff as if you were drawing with like a pencil. When you're drawing on a drawing tablet, you're essentially holding like a pencil. It almost kind of looks like a chunky pen or something, and you're essentially drawing either on a screen where it's like kind of like drawing on paper, or you're drawing on like a slab and you're looking up and drawing like on your monitor. It does require hand-eye coordination that's pretty decent if you aren't using a screen drawing tablet, but we'll get into that in just a second. So your best options when it comes to like easily affordable stuff would be a screenless drawing tablet. Those are just your standard, probably like little Wacom, tiny little, Cintiq drawing tablets. I don't have a actual like link or anything. I'm not sponsored by anyone. I'm not going to be like, hey, you should buy this specific tablet from my dropshipping Amazon store or whatever. But there are easily affordable drawing tablets out there. Not every drawing tablet is like hundreds of dollars. I believe Wacom has some really like small and portable drawing tablets, because I've used one before. I think there's one called like the Bamboo something or other. I had that in high school. That one's really nice. You can use it with like a laptop. You can bring it around with you easily. If you're in like school or something like that, you can easily tuck it into a backpack, bring it around with you, like university, like college. If you're even just traveling a lot for any reason, it's probably the best if you want to like bring it with you. Drawing with like a laptop and like a smaller portable drawing tablet. You can bring a screen drawing tablet with you in some cases. Sometimes they need a little extra power because they have like a higher energy cost. Most drawing tablets you just plug directly into your computer and it draws power from the computer to operate, like the screenless type. Usually you don't have to plug those in. Sometimes you have to charge them. It really completely depends on like the actual model you're using, the brand, all that stuff. Feel free to do your own research to like what's in your budget. But that's like a really good thing to start out with. Now, some people really struggle with drawing while looking away from what they're doing with their hands. Like if you're used to drawing on paper, when you draw, you're looking directly at what you're drawing, you're looking down, you're watching your hands move and everything. You're able to like do that with your hand-eye coordination. If you're using a screenless drawing tablet, like the ones that are just like a dark slab that you glide your pencil across, you're essentially just using it as a mouse while looking up away from what you're doing with your hands to your monitor. This is kind of its own skill entirely that you'll have to learn. I started out doing it that way, but you probably, it might be hard, especially if you're used to drawing on paper. So what I personally do best with myself is a screened drawing tablet, and these are called display tablets. They essentially work as extra monitors that you plug into your PC with like a touchscreen kind of thing that interacts with your stylus. So it's almost like drawing on an iPad. It's remarkably similar. That's one of the reasons why an iPad is a good alternative if you don't have a PC, because it's essentially the same thing. It's just like a larger iPad that you plug into a PC, like that only does drawing. So sometimes the software is a bit better because it's optimized, because you're not hosting apps directly on the tablet. It's less likely to crash. And the tablets come in larger sizes than you'll ever find with an iPad. Like, you can get a really big one if you want to, but those are extremely expensive. You don't need that. What I personally have, what I use, and I've used this for years now, I absolutely love it. I have an XP Pen Artist 12 Pro, and it's about like 300 something, so it's a little expensive, but I've had mine for years and years and years. I also got mine on sale around like Black Friday, I think, and it was like $200. So it was a really good grab. I've had mine. I have no problems with it. I think it's perfect for me. It's like a nice mid-range drawing tablet. A lot of the display tablets you see online are like $1,000 for like no reason. The market is ridiculous. It's ridiculously overpriced. The larger the tablet you get, the more expensive it's going to be. If you shop with brands like Wacom, yeah, their tablets are pretty good, but they're also like the Apple of the drawing tablet world, and so their stuff is ridiculously overpriced when their competitors do the same thing, like just as good for way cheaper. So when you're looking for a drawing tablet, please be sure to actually look around, shop around a bit before you say, oh, I like that one, and like overpay for something that you could get for way cheaper. Digital art is not as expensive as a hobby as people think. It's like a one-time purchase of your equipment and then you're kind of just good, rather than traditional where you're constantly having to like restock your supplies. It's a larger cost like up front, but long term it'll save you a lot of money, which I think is more accessible than constantly having to like budget in supplies to your budget and everything. Sorry. Sniffly. So that's definitely something to consider. Another thing is making sure that you have a PC that's compatible with it. Now, most drawing tablets are universally compatible. Some of them need special ports and stuff. I needed to get an adapter for my PC because my thing uses like a DisplayPort adapter, and I was already using that because I have like 2 monitors, so I had to get like a adapter that it's like HDMI to DisplayPort or something, or the other way around. I don't remember, but it's you might need an extra part here or there. If you're plugging it into like a laptop, you're probably fine, but if you have like a big PC setup where you have like several monitors, you may have to make sure that you have space for it, because it will hook up to your computer as another monitor. Like if you have like 3 monitors, if you have like a crazy like streamer setup, it might be kind of difficult for you. Make sure that you have space for it. Also make sure that you're getting a drawing tablet that fits your workspace. Mine, the Artist 12 Pro, it's called the 12 because it's 12 inches. It's a pretty good size. I think it's a perfect size for like a desk, but some people really like big ones, like really big drawing tablets, so they can work really big, like almost like a canvas size itself. It's definitely more expensive, but if you do that, make sure that you have the space for it, obviously, that you have like a comfortable workspace. You don't want to be drawing like hunched over, cramped in a tiny little space. Like, you want to make sure that you have a decent enough space to work in, a comfortable chair, that sort of thing, because you will be sitting still for a long period of time. But you can say that with any art stuff. I'm just putting that out there because some people's setups look very uncomfortable and I feel bad. Just make sure that you buy what's good for you and your space and your setup. Whatever's the most available to you. You don't have to start off with buying like a PC and like a drawing tablet. You don't have to do that. I don't recommend doing that because you might not like it. You might buy all this stuff and realize you don't like it, and then you don't know what to do with your equipment. So just like with anything, try before you buy. Try out some stuff to see if you like it before you decide to invest in it. It is good to invest in it because long term it probably will pay off. Especially if you keep at it, and if you do stuff like commissions and stuff, it'll pay for itself tenfold. You get it. You guys aren't stupid. I'm sure you understand. But when it comes to picking out the best equipment, it really comes down to your personal situation, your personal preferences, and everything. I use a screen drawing tablet plugged into a PC. I have like a NextBuild PC. Don't buy from them. They're like a scam company. Their pre-builds are overpriced and not that powerful, but mine is definitely strong enough for what I use it for. Now the drawing program that I use is Clip Studio Paint, and we'll be talking about drawing programs now, actually. I was going to say it in a second, but it's time. So there are different options for your actual program that you use, and we'll be talking about PC programs because I already went over tablet drawing, like with Procreate and Ibis Paint and Metabang and all that. So this is just for PC people. Like if you are drawing on a laptop or a PC with a drawing tablet, this is for you. So there are two main things that I would recommend personally that I think are the best drawing softwares. One of them is free and one of them is paid. So if you want to start out with something that is reasonably good, it'll carry you from a beginner to like a probably like moderate, intermediate level artist. Some people use it forever, but you'll probably end up wanting more features eventually, which then that's I can't speak. That's probably the point where you'll upgrade. But for now, a great, fantastic free option that I would recommend is Krita. Now, Krita is a longtime friend of mine. I used Krita all through high school. I was a big fan of Krita. My first art program was Paint Tool Sai, which I'll talk about in a few minutes, but after that I moved to Krita and I stayed there for a long time. So Krita's definitely good enough to like keep you there for a while. Krita has a layout that's like really ugly to look at. It's very like overwhelming, especially if you're just starting out. But it has a lot of tools that will take you a long way if you take a little time to get used to it. I definitely recommend Krita. They have some like animation software in there. You can do like simple animations in Krita. You can use it for illustration. You can use it for comics. You can use it for whatever you want, basically. I believe Krita does have the ability to import custom brushes, but not like very easily. If you want to do that, I would recommend Clip Studio, but we'll talk about Clip Studio in a second. Krita is just really strong, really solid. It doesn't crash much. It doesn't really have a lot of issues. It's an older software, but it's still very reliable. It doesn't get a lot of updates, but it doesn't really need to. It's just like a finished product. I think it does sometimes for little things, but it's not like Clip Studio where it constantly gets updates, or like actual drawing apps that you'd see on like an iPad or something that get updates all the time. It's a finished product. It's its own thing, but it's fantastic. It has a lot of great tools. I think it's very user-friendly once you get used to the UI and figure out what everything does. Oh my god, I'm gonna throw up. My personal beef with Krita mostly comes around the UI. For example, like my least favorite thing that Krita does is in order to erase anything, you have to like move your tablet pen up to the top of the screen and click on like an eraser button that's at like the top middle of the screen for some reason. It's like really clunky and awkward. If you're used to like not doing that and then you go back to it, it's like, what the fuck? It's so weird. You develop like a weird muscle memory for it pretty fast, but it's just odd. It also doesn't have as much like variety available from like, compared to some of the paid options that we'll talk about. But it's really solid. Like for starting out, that stuff probably won't even matter to you. That's more of something that you might have trouble with like later on. But in general, Krita is really strong. It's got great brushes. I really like the watercolor brushes and the pencil tools. I use pencils a lot for sketching, like digital charcoal pencils and stuff like that. And again, I did use Krita for a very long time, so I can confirm that it will take you far. It's very nice to use. It's, it's smooth, it works well, and it's completely free. I'm almost certain that it's free. I've recommended it to many people. You can get Krita, I believe, on PC and Mac. I don't use a Mac because fuck Apple again, but you can get it from the Google Play Store, I believe, or like the Google, like, I think it's like a Windows store or whatever, the like built-in app store that's on your computer that you've probably used like 3 times and never touched again because who would ever use it. It has Krita there. You can get it easily. I think it's free. If it's not free, it's like $10. For some reason I saw it on Steam and it was like $10, but I don't know why. Makes no sense. But you can buy it on Steam for $10 and it's really affordable. There's no subscription shit. There's no premium currency shit. There's no microtransactions. It's just you buy the software, you download it, you use it, that's it. There's no other monetization options. You don't even need like an account, I don't think. It's really straightforward. So Krita is a great option to try out. I don't recommend using like MS Paint. at all because you're just going to be so limited at everything you can do. Some people do, but they're crazy. MS Paint is good for pixel art, I'd say. If you want to do pixel art, that might be a good option. But I know there's better options for pixel art, and I won't really be talking about pixel art much here in this series. I might do a video on it eventually. I don't really do pixel art, but I do know a lot about it. So maybe at some point. Now, there are a few that I don't recommend you use, but there's also some honorable mentions. I like Paint Tool Sai a lot. Paint Tool Sai is an older program. It's a bit clunky, it's a bit limited, but it was my first art program. I got it when I was a kid. I like pirated it. And the way that I learned how to use Paint Tool Sai was not optimal because I had a pirated copy that like my mom gave me, and all of the text was replaced with question marks. And so I kind of felt like a blind man, like feeling around, like trying to understand what things do, and it was very it was a little rough. And then of course I got another version, and it was all in Japanese, so that didn't really help because I don't speak Japanese or read it. So but that being said, it goes to show that the layout is easy enough to understand that even if you're stupid and you can't read any of the text, you can still figure out what stuff does, and you can still use it effectively. So like, if I was able to figure that out when I was like 13 and I couldn't read any of the text, I'm sure that you, as most likely someone older than 13, if you're on this channel, I hope so, I'm sure you can figure it out. It's really not that bad. It is paid. It's not a free software. I believe it's like 60 to $80, but it's like a lifetime thing. It might be less. It might be like 40. I remember having to pay for it. I think I actually bought it like twice. Now, I'm pretty sure they do have a free trial. There's a free trial of not Clip Studio, Paint Tool Sai. I think it's a month long. It's like 30 days. It might be like 2 weeks, it might be 14 days. I'm not sure. But either way, there is a free trial version that you can try out to see if you like it, if you want to pay for something. But honestly, if you're gonna get a paid software, you should just get Clip Studio Paint, and that's what I'll talk about now. This is the Clip Studio Paint glazing section of the video because, God, do I love Clip Studio Paint. Clip Studio Paint is just the best. It's professional, it's sleekly designed, it's highly customizable. It has a similar layout to Photoshop, and it's basically just like Photoshop with like actually made for painting in mind. It's designed for illustration. It can be used for stuff like manga, and if you really want to splurge at the big bucks, it's a great tool for animation. But that's completely unnecessary. I won't be talking about animation on this channel. I am not an animator. I don't know how to animate. I could not draw a bouncing ball for my life. Maybe someday. But for now, I'm just putting that out there. It is a tool for animation. It is used by a lot of people for like more painterly animation, stuff that's like more, I don't know, hand-drawn, like, you know, if you want like paint an animation made out of illustrations, then Clip Studio is pretty good for you. Sorry, I'm like stuttering a lot. The best feature I think that Clip Studio has is the built-in user-created asset library, where artists can sell custom brushes, 3D assets, materials, either for free or for in-app currency. Now, 99% of all the stuff you will get on the Clip Studio store is completely free. But they do give away free currency sometimes. Usually around the holidays, they'll have like a login campaign where they just give you, I think it's called Clippy. They have two currencies. They have Clippy and they have Gold. I don't know why they have two, but most things cost Clippy, which you can just buy for really cheap. They have like a real money to Clippy conversion thing, and it's like really cheap. And again, you'll probably never use it unless you need like an ultra specific like 3D model or something. You probably won't use it. But in general, that is Clip Studio's best feature. Being able to import thousands, millions of custom brushes to use for any kind of effect you can possibly imagine. Like they have automatic processing tools that will help you do certain things, like, you know, removing a background from an image or something that you can get, or, you know, coloring line art automatically. That's a common one people use. I don't use those because I can never figure out how they work, but that's me being lazy. I'm sure there's plenty of tutorials online that show you how to use those things. They also have like endless textures you can use for free, texture brushes. Like if you ever want to paint on a bunch of buttons, instead of drawing out all the little circles by hand, they have brushes. Just slap buttons on your artwork. Now sometimes it might clash. I don't recommend like overly using those because it's not going to fit your style probably. That's more for like professional illustrating in like an anime style usually, because it could just quickly slap on some detail. But I do end up using them for a lot of different things, especially backgrounds. Like if you're someone that's drawing like a nature scenery or something and you need to draw like leaves, you might know that that's like a nightmare. But there's brushes that will just do leaves and grass for you, and you can like mess with it until it fits with your style and draw on top of it and add to it and all that. But there's a lot of like things that are really easy for like illustration, backgrounds, stuff like that, like brushes that do clouds or whatever, stuff like that. A lot of stuff you can do for free. But like for example, the background that you're looking at right now behind me, this starry night, this is something that I drew, and all those little stars and stuff like that, the little sparklies, they're spray paint brushes and star texture tools, and those are all built right into Clip Studio. The clouds are just like this one texture thing and some fog and like spray and stuff. I didn't really use a lot of custom user-made brushes for this one. I don't think I used any, but that just goes to show you can do cool stuff with just the built-in stuff like really easily. This did not take long to make. Like full transparency, I made this in like an hour watching a YouTube video. So and not like a tutorial, like I was watching someone play a game on YouTube. And I just made this for branding stuff. So you can absolutely use their wide variety of brushes to do all sorts of stuff like really quick and easy, and it looks really good. I love the user library. I use it for so much stuff. And one of the main things I use it for is 3D models, because Clip Studio Paint has a built-in sort of like posable doll feature where you can import a 3D model. You can change the model's proportions to match a character you're trying to draw, whether you're drawing chibi to like a sexy anime lady or something. If you need to change proportions, if you're drawing like a big buff guy, right, that can be kind of difficult. You can use the 3D posable dolls, sort of like those little wooden mannequins you'd see in like an art class. I don't know what they're actually called, but they're like the little drawing mannequins that you pose and then you kind of sketch from that, sort of like you would with like a figure drawing. You can do that right in Clip Studio with the 3D model feature, and this is something I use all the time. Now, a lot of people will sell both 3D models, like, you know, maybe they're special, they're not the built-in ones, or they're proportion presets to help you like get certain body types. But my favorite thing is when people put on poses. They will make pose packs or just individual poses that you can use. You can sort of slap it onto your 3D model and it will change pose, and then you can angle the camera around, you can lower the opacity, and then you can draw right on top of it. It works like a really quick and dirty, like make your own reference kind of thing, and I love that. I love that you can make your own reference with it. You can play with the camera angle to help get the proportions right, and the foreshortening and the perspective. It's so useful. Incredibly useful. And Clip Studio Paint has a lot of stuff in it that's made for comics specifically. A lot of people draw webcomics in Clip Studio. It actually has a built-in webcomic like export feature. Like if you're drawing stuff for like Webtoon or something like that, Clip Studio is a great option. Though if you're making a Webtoon, you're probably already using Clip Studio, and if you're not, please God, use Clip Studio for that. I've actually tried making a webcomic before. I didn't really stick with it because I kind of hate drawing comics, but it was really nice. It was a very easy to do thing when it came to like using the software for it, exporting it, all that stuff. It was very nice. It was very fun. Definitely recommend that. The next thing would probably be just the pricing of it. It's really affordable. Now, a lot of people kind of freaked out because they did introduce some kind of subscription thing to it, but it's not like what you think when you think of a subscription service. So Clip Studio has two pricing options. They have like your one-time payment owning like a specific version of the program. So if you want, like, I think as of the time of this video, the current one is 4.0. You can buy a forever license, whatever the fuck it's actually called. I think it's like it's something license, I don't know. But it basically means you have Clip Studio Paint 4.0 forever. You never have to pay a subscription for it. It's a one-time thing. You have a lifetime pass or whatever to Clip Studio Paint 4.0. But when Clip Studio Paint 4.1 and 4.2 and eventually like 5.0 and onward come out, you might want to use some of the new features that they release. Like if they improve the 3D model software, or if they add like a feature you really like Clip Studio Paint, I think it might have been 3 or 4.0, they added anti-AI features to it, where you can add like noise filters and stuff like that built in, like they have on like Procreate and stuff like that. I don't know if they have that on Procreate. They have it on one of the mobile ones. Might be Ibis Paint, I'm not sure. They also introduced time-lapse functionality, so you can make time-lapse similar to like Procreate and stuff. Those are things that came in the updates. Now, if you want to use the updates, but you only have the annual pass, what you can do is you can buy an update pass on top of that. And that's literally like, I think it's like $10 for the whole year. It's not like pay us, $10 every month to get like 2 features that you want. It's like an annual thing, and it's incredibly cheap. And it's like 10, 15 or something for like annually, like the whole year. That's like nothing. And whenever they have new features come out, you can update it for free. So it does have some subscription features, but they're so unbelievably affordable compared to like every other subscription service I've ever seen. It's like it's a little scummy, but like, I mean, it's not that bad. It's really like, it's nothing. Like, it's so much cheaper than like, oh my god, like fucking Photoshop or anything else like that people use all the time. I'm gonna go on a Photoshop rant in a second. Spoilers. It's really not that bad. It's really not bad at all. You get so much. It's underpriced. Like, for how good Clip Studio Paint is, I believe a one-time or the lifetime license thing is like $60, maybe like 80 at most. It's not over that. And that's forever. You can have that for the rest of your goddamn life, right? And it's so good. It's like on par with like the, like $500 professional software that people use for drawing. Like, it's better than them, actually. All the other stuff that's like ridiculously expensive, like if you use something like Corel Painter, where it's like, oh, we're so professional, we're so blah blah blah. Clip Studio Paint is probably better. Like, I've used Corel Painter for school and stuff because it gave me a free like version of it for like a class I took in high school. Clip Studio Paint is better, and it's like a fraction of the cost. So it's that plus like maybe paying like $15 a year for like cool new features, which are genuinely very useful and worth it. Yeah, it's pretty affordable. It's really not that bad at all. Like, I don't know, it might seem like a lot up front, but it's like, it's the price of a AAA game, and then you have it forever, and it's really useful, and if you do commissions, you'll make that money back, like, very fast. It's absolutely worth it. I will never go back to any other drawing program. I am, like, #1 Clip Studio Paint glazer. This is not sponsored in any way. They don't know I exist. I'm not big enough for them to sponsor me, but I would love it if they sponsored me because I love them. I think they're great. They're also like anti-AI. They have like a lot of, supportive stuff with their users. They're used very widely in a professional setting. It's great. It's got everything you could ever want. It is essentially Photoshop made for painting. It's very powerful. You can even use it for stuff that you'd use Photoshop for, like, editing images and stuff. I'm pretty sure it has almost all the same capabilities. It's just made more for illustration. And it's not made by Adobe. Wow. That's so nice. Fuck Adobe. We do not like Adobe on this channel. Speaking of Adobe, please do not use Photoshop to draw. That's our next thing. Photoshop, it's just Clip Studio Paint, but it's like 3 times the price and way shittier. Now, if you already have Photoshop for a job you do, like if you're a graphic designer or something, you want to get into, drawing like anime or something, it might be a good option like to start with, but it's just really not built for painting. And it really doesn't have like a lot of good brushes and all this stuff. It's just not the same. Like, Clip Studio is 1,000,000 times better, and there's absolutely no reason to use Photoshop over it. Even if it's like, oh, I'm more familiar with Photoshop. Learn Clip Studio. They're so similar. It'd be so easy for you to learn. Like, they're built in such a similar way. It's so much worth it. Like, I promise. Please just use Clip Studio. If you're on PC and you can afford it, please God. Other drawing tablets I don't really recommend, or not drawing tablets, programs that I don't really recommend are things like GIMP. GIMP is it's more for like vector drawings and logos and stuff. I think it's really limiting. I used to like Autodesk Sketchbook, but I think they're paid now and they're not as good as they used to be. Other drawing programs that I don't really recommend is like that. There's like a Fox one, I forget what it's called. There's like a million of them out there. They're all like a lot of the free ones are just not good. If you're gonna get a free drawing program, go with Krita. It has everything you could ever want. Seriously, like it will carry you from beginner to at least intermediate, if not like a little higher than that if you really want it to. The other ones are just so limited with what they offer. Like they have so little features and they're just so like not optimized for painting and like actual like long-term drawing. I don't recommend them. It's like industry standard, Krita free, Clip Studio Paint paid, worth every penny. That would be my recommendation for how to get started when it comes to like what should I buy, what do I need, that sort of thing. Everything else is completely optional. Any other like little gadgets you want to get, you don't need them. I don't use them. I'm super bare bones because I'm cheap. I have my computer, which I bought for many reasons, and then I have my little drawing tablet that I've had for years. I never buy a new one. I've used different ones. I've used the small portable kind. I've used the large not display kind that's just like a slab of plastic. I don't recommend that. Those are just not worth it. You might as well just get a screened one because they tend to be almost as expensive and just not as good. I'm sure there is some benefit to using like a not screened tablet, but I don't know what it is. I couldn't tell you. I'm sure if you use a non-display tablet professionally, I don't know why you're watching this video. If you're a professional, it's probably not helpful. But if you have any actual like reason why you do that, please leave it in the comments because I'm genuinely like curious to like what the benefit would be over a screen tablet, because I just feel like the screen tablet is better and I'm not educated, so I don't know anyone who uses a screenless tablet professionally. So I think it's like I've heard it can be good for like animation, but that's like all I know, and I don't know how it would be better for animation like than seeing it and drawing directly on it, so I have no clue. But I'm sure it's better for some things. I'm uneducated. So did I mention in the last video that I'm not a professional or an art teacher? I'm like a self-taught 22-year-old guy. I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. But I'm a professional artist. I do commissions for a living. That's what I do. So, you know, my main motivation for making this series is to make it in a way that's easier to digest and something that's actually fun to like do. Because a lot of people that tell you like, oh, this is how you draw, they're going to tell you draw 500 million 3D boxes to learn perspective, and that's just not going to be fun. Like, if you're someone who wants to draw like, I don't know, a sexy anime character, right? Drawing 500 boxes, it's going to kill all your interest in drawing. Like, you're not going to have fun. Like, simply put, for some people it works, but so many people that do art tutorials, they treat it like a subject to study in school instead of a fun thing that you can do that you can get better at over time. Like, looking at it, it's just a fun thing and not something you have to like study or like do competitively, like to be as good as other artists. Like, you don't have to do that. Your goal when you draw should not be to art max or whatever. Like, do it as efficiently as possible, as fast as possible, because you're gonna be miserable. Like, it's not gonna be fun. It's gonna feel like you're studying for like an exam, and it's not gonna feel rewarding. You're not going to have fun doing it. It's going to be like, oh, I have to do all this practice before I can draw the stuff I want to draw. Like, that's so lame. Just draw what you want to draw. You will improve through sheer repetition and like basic guidance. You don't need to do like these studies. You don't need to study like a realistic anatomy to do stylized stuff. Just do the stylized stuff. Yes, it will be slower. Yes, it will be less efficient, but you won't be miserable. It's a big trade-off. So I absolutely would recommend just drawing what you want to draw, and I'll talk about that more in my next video, like how to go about doing things, how to go about quote-unquote studying, and how to improve and how to like see your improvement. That's something I'll talk about in the next video when I start talking about guidelines and the intro to actually putting, you know, pen to tablet and drawing. I was gonna say pencil to paper, but we're not doing that. But yeah, I'll be talking about that in the next video. However, that is something that is very important to me. You can probably tell this video is very messy. I'm like stammering, saying a lot, being stupid, not very well researched on some of these things. This is just from my experience as an artist, like raw, put it out there. Probably the easiest way to get the information out without having to like make it a whole production. I am not like a professional YouTuber. I'm not gonna be like content brain to be like I'm just putting this out there. Like, people have asked for it. This is my raw, unfiltered self. You can have it. I'm not monetized. I don't care about that stuff. So this is just to put that out there. But I'm rambling. TLDR for the whole thing. You can draw on whatever is most accessible. You can use the programs that are most accessible to you. No matter what you use, you can draw professionally. It doesn't matter. Some things are just easier than others. I do have recommendations, but they're not strict. You don't have to do them. I'll be drawing on them when I do my videos, so it might be easier to follow along, but that's about it. You really don't need to. You can even use my videos to draw traditionally. You just have to make some adjustments in how you do certain things. A lot of the simple stuff like how to draw characters, that's universal. It doesn't matter what you're drawing on. You can do it with pencil and paper just as well as, digitally. It translates. So that's about it. This video is 45 minutes long. Sorry about that. This is why I'm not going to be editing as much. So hopefully you enjoyed my rambling. I will be yapping more in the future. The next video is probably going to be fucking 2 hours long, so I'm sorry in advance. But this is the best way that I teach. It's the best way I explain things. I just have to get all my thoughts out. It's like a fucking autism thing. I just have to get it out there. But yep, that is about everything I wanted to go over. And I hope all of you have a fantastic day. Thank you for watching. If you watch all the way through, you're awesome, and you have a high tolerance for my bullshit. Thank you. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you all in the next video. So thank you for stopping by.
Goodbye, everybody.